Hey guys, welcome back to Lava City Threads. I'm Alveraz. Let's get into what sold last week. Sold 45 pieces, a total revenue of about $1,400, profit just over $1,000. My goal by the end of the year is to make $2,000 per week in profit. I'm a part-time reseller. I'm working 3 to 5 hours a day. I'm here in Central Oregon, and so far so good. Things are starting to pick up a little bit despite summer slowdown. Summer slowdown was pretty rough last week. It usually starts right around Memorial Day, right after Memorial Day. Let me know how you guys did in the comments below. I'm real curious if you guys are seeing some kind of up and down stuff going on this year. Last year it was kind of down until August. This year, however, it seems to be fluctuating a little bit, the last couple of weeks anyway. Okay, my profit floor is $15 per item. Over the last week, it's been pretty good, about $22 per item. Let's get right into it. Here's a pair of cinched jeans I sold over on Poshmark. Pretty bread and butter. I'm in Central Oregon, so we get a lot of workwear up here. A lot of blue collar communities where I'm at, and so you get a lot of work hard, play hard kind of clothing, which you'll see through all of these, what sold. These here I sold over on Poshmark. Took 7 days. They were listed. Sold them for $27. Poshmark took me for $5.40. The cost of goods was $2, and I made $19.60 profit on that. Okay, let's check out these vintage 501 jeans, size 36-30. I like to put in the parentheticals what the actual measurements are. They're 34-29, and then throw in all your keywords, of course, straight, distressed, grunge, all that good stuff. 3630s, this is just kind of a factory and like wash code, I believe, the 0193, and then this is just another factory type code down here. But as you get down here is where you start getting into the good stuff, and this is where you really need to pay attention. So the 324 is the number down near the 1202. The 324 is the kind of authenticator code that next to that is where you'll be able to find the date. Right, so this is 1202, so these vintage jeans were made in December of 2002. I'm not an aficionado and expert on Levi's by any means, but I'm getting better at it thanks to guys like Big Yumbo. Follow him, he's really good. He knows a lot about vintage jeans and what to pick up there. And another guy called, I think it's J. Rowe Fisher. I mentioned both these guys last week, and I'm mentioning them again because they've just been really helpful in my journey and learning about denim and jeans. Okay, moving on. Over on Poshmark, sold some Fox Racing motocross pants, size 36. And what was kind of cool about these was the colorway. They were kind of rare. I couldn't find them really anywhere. I found different varieties of these. By the way, real quick, those vintage Levi's sold in 5 days. I forgot to mention that. So these Fox Racing pants sold in 13 days. So yeah, these are pretty cool. Sold these for over on Poshmark for $79. Took me for $15.80 over at Poshmark. Cost of goods was $2, and I made $61.20 on this. So I got my asking for that. Next up, we've got some Born platform sandals, women's size 7. These Borns took 9 days to sell. The sale price was $34. Paid $6.80 fees on that and made $27.20 profit on those. Okay, so this is just a really simple little top, and here's the label on those. Large, so 47 brand, took 17 days, popped them up for 15, got 15. Total profit was only $10 on this though, right? So just be careful on that if you have a floor that you're setting for your store. But again, I picked this up for $2, right? So I'll do a lot of that stuff all day. No problem. I have no problem with that. It depends on what your cost of goods are. If you're out there trying to pick up little baseball tops like this for $5 to $7 at your local Goodwill, then you might want to double check that. It's probably not the best idea. Here's a pair of Paris vintage Texas cowboy boots, women's 6.5. And these took 4 days to sell. Sold them over on Depop for $47. Took me for $2.14. I don't know if those were boosted or not. Were those boosted? No, I don't think those were boosted. The cost of goods was $2, and I made $42.86 profit. Oh yeah, okay. So they were listed for $54.97. I took an offer for $47. They weren't in the greatest condition, so I picked these up at it was a yard sale. But this is what you're looking for here on these boots. Look for these Texas All-American made. I'm getting better at boots. Again, I'm in Central Oregon, so you're kind of forced to do so. And so I'm getting better at picking up boots. And if you subscribe and you want to learn more about boots, keep watching me because I'm getting better at it myself and I'm starting to sell a lot of them. Okay. Next up, Lapis Maxi Skirt. And this sold in 10 days over on eBay's. Sale price was $32, so I took an offer. I listed it for $35.07. They the fees there were $5.72. Haven't shipped this one yet. I gotta get this one out. Okay, that just reminded me. I've got a big old box over here of stuff I gotta ship, so I'll get to that pretty soon. Cost of goods was $2. Buyer paid $6.95 for shipping. I will probably pay for my label right around $5.50 or so. So I'll probably make 50 cents to $1 on that. Total profit was $31.21, but that's going to go down after shipping here. So probably will come in right around $25. And I don't know if you guys have heard it. Let me know in the comments about what you've been hearing about eBay's new shipping policy. It's not a policy. They sent out a notice about how they're going to start changing some shipping. And so it's going to affect guys like me who do the calculated shipping, because I like to make that, 50 cents, $1 on my handling between the label and what the buyer pays. But I think they're going over to a more Poshmark type system. So that will cut out my little profit there. How do you guys feel about that? Are you guys comfortable with that? There's pros and cons to both. I'm not going to get into it right now because this is really about a what sold video, but maybe I'll make a video about that soon so we can get into that discussion a little bit further. But look into it if you don't know about it, because it will affect everybody. Okay, so this was a style-based pickup, by the way. I don't really know much about Lapis. I'm getting better at women's clothing over the last year, but there's still so many labels, right, for women's clothing. But this had that peasant cottagecore boho thing going on, and it was just really kind of cool. And we sold this in 10 days. Sold it for $32. Yeah, took an offer on that, and again made $31. I already said that, but it's probably going to be closer to $25. Let's get on to the next piece. Lululemon Scuba oversized half zip. This sold over on Depop, and this one was boosted. And how are you guys doing on Lulu? Lulu's been it's been a little wonky, to say the least, for me. Like the Lulu yoga pants, that kind of stuff, not doing as great as it was. I'm noticing like men's Lulu picking up for me. Women's Lulu sort of going down. But specialty pieces are kind of off, like this one here, right? Like a scuba half zip crop sweatshirt, You get all those kind of keywords going and those kind of unique pieces, and they seem to still do very well for me. So sold this one in 10 days. Again, just like that Lapis skirt. Sold it for $39, so it looks like I took an offer on that. It was boosted, so that took me for an extra $4.68. Cost of goods was $2, and I made $30.50 profit on that one. Here's some Ariats. M5s I did pretty well on. Took about 19 days there. Sold it for $31.55. Took an offer on it, and it took me for $5. Over on eBay for that. Cost of goods $2. Made about $32, but that'll probably shoot down to about $26 after shipping. And here's the label there that you're looking for. Street fit, good, but you can find when you're really looking for those boot cuts as much as possible, especially in Ariats. If you're finding baggy jeans in Ariats, you're doing pretty well. But Ariats pretty bread and butter for me. Okay, let me ease up on that. Maybe not bread and butter, but when I get them, I usually do pretty well, and I get them relatively often up here in Central Oregon. Next up, we have a pair of Viore Meta pants. These sold in about 12 days Took the listing price, $42.27. Collected shipping on that was $11.67. I will probably pay about $9 on that. Cost of goods $2, and I made $44.21. So probably in the high 30s there is what I'll walk away with. Let's take a look at this. I pick up most Viore. I don't know about you guys, but most Viore I'm gonna probably pick up. I don't think I've turned down many Viores unless we're looking at a lot of stains or some kind of damage to them. These are the tags. There's my ugly thumbnail and some measurements, and here's a hit right there, so you kind of can see what you're looking for, because there's not, I think like you saw the Viore right here, but if memory serves on most Viore, it's kind of difficult to find out that that's what they are until you start digging around and finding the hits on them. Okay. All right, I'm laughing because this one's got a few funny things going on about it. First off, the cover photo. Okay, but that's probably the dude who bought them, so that's okay. I'm not judging. Days listed, $19. So, as I like to call them, just old Givenchy's, but my girlfriend likes to correct me on these. I think they're Givenchy or something like this. I don't know. But there's the fellow wearing them right there. These sold in 19 days. It's a great brand. Especially if you can get the vintage stuff. I got 2 pairs of these actually. I only sold one so far. A pair of Givenchy Monsieur shorts, men's size 30. Turned out to be size 38. A little bit of shrinking there. Asked for $52.17 and got it. Over on eBay, walked away with $51.85, but with shipping, it'll probably be more around $45. Cost of goods, $2 on those. Here's the label. Big designer brand, what is there to say here? Just pick them up, or if not, at least look at them, comp them, make sure they're in good condition, and you'll be good to go there. Pretty good, pretty solid pickup. Okay, what's next? Brooks running shoes. I think these are the ones I was telling you about. These sat around forever, 182 days. I had them on sale for $15. Guess I finally got rid of them. Picked them up for $1. So, made about $10 on those, whatever. Usually Brooks I do really well on, frankly. I'm sure you guys do too, if you guys are picking up Brooks. Just try to get them in really good condition. I think these were in crappy condition. That's what got me. And, the wear's not too bad, just a little bit of dirty. And again, I'm not cleaning shoes anymore. I'm just throwing them up there if they're in decent condition and going with it. Cool. Moving on, Angie dress. This is another style pickup, I believe. I think these were sitting around for a while too. Yeah, close to a year. Listed for $21.75, sold for $19. So, I don't know if this is a pickup for you. I thought it was at the time because of kind of the style of it. I thought it was kind of a pretty dress, pretty maxi, but I don't really know a ton about women's clothing. I'm getting better. I promise. So some Angie large, 100% rayon. That's the tag if you're looking for it. But again, I don't remember this being like a high sell-through or anything like that. It just looked like it had a lot of cool keywords that I could get up there. And there you go. So, what's next? Vintage LL Bean. This was a seersucker, right? So with LL Bean, I'm pretty picky on LL Bean. But, if you're getting vintage, you can look up the styles. And if you're getting something like, right now getting into spring and summer, and you can find the seersuckers, gingham, it's a go. So sold this here for $26.97 over on Etsy. Took about 17 days. Sale price 26? Yeah. Sold it for the listing. For some reason, it's giving me a higher total profit. I don't think it's all been calculated yet. But I should walk away for at least $20 on that one. Okay. I'm skipping a few here that were under my $15 floor because they were just old stuff and they're still part of that old school sale that I had of crap that was in my inventory that was over a year old. So I'm skipping by that. If you guys want that kind of stuff though, be sure to comment below. Like if you want don't pick up this junk, then I will absolutely do that too. Right now, I'm trying to give you the labels and the brands and the pieces that when you're out there sourcing right now, spring, summer, go grab them. And I'm still having luck with hoodies and lighter wear right now. As we move on into June, July, probably more July, I'll kind of back off those a little bit until late August, September, and start getting back into them again. But I'm still finding my hoodies like this one are going, so still doing those. This took 9 days to sell. This is just a Rogue Fitness hoodie. Not a whole lot here, but this is made in USA. Rogue Fitness hoodie. Here's the front. Always comp these ones though, right? These ones are tricky. I don't think it was like a really fast sell through on this. I'm kind of surprised I got this, but the thing was I paid like $1 or $2 for it. Sale price $19.97. I got my asking over 9 days. Made about $15 on this over at Mercari, which is rare. How do you guys do on Mercari? Mercari is not so hot for me. Rarely is, but I'm pretty sure that's for everybody from what I understand. Okay. Some Banana Republic Aidens. Depending on the brand, I'll still pick up Banana Republic, but it's really got to be specific, right? Like these ones, Linen Blend, 3130, Banana Republic Aidens, all day long in the spring and summer, right? You can get rid of these pretty quickly. Only took 15 days to sell. Sold them for listed them for $23.37, sold them for $23.37. Walked away with $24. Cost of goods was $2 on that. Oh, I love this shirt. So this is a Pearl Snap by Ruddock. It's a vintage piece. And what I really dig about it is this this blue in here, and it had a really nice kind of canvas chambray denim e-fill. Here's the tag you're looking for. Do your research on them though. Again, this is another piece that's not really a high sell-through, but this particular pattern is very cool, right? And you know, it's got the sawtooth up here. And it's got the blue stripes, and I like that kind of old, I was gonna keep this one if it was XL, kind of locomotive train track kind of stuff, you know, where you have the little hats with the blue lining on them. I don't know, I just dig that pattern. So there's that. Sold in 3 days, $28.97. And let's get on to the next one. Here's some New Balance. These ones are actually in pretty good condition. New Balance 990 version 5s, V5s, women 8, size 8. Days listed 16, listed it for 44, got 44. Walked away with about $33 in profit. Here's a tag. Let's see what it looks like on here. Not bad. Tread looks pretty good. Usually I like to mark these out. You guys have all seen this before, right? Where they'll put either the size or usually it's the price down in here, like a lot of the thrift stores, and depending where you pick this up. I'm pretty sure I picked this up on a, yeah, that was at a haul, not a haul, garage sale, haul at the garage sale. And tread's pretty good, but anyway, I like to usually mark out the prices down here because even most shoppers are pretty savvy and they know when you get a price from a thrift store, they'll mark it up down here. And you guys know the trick that Goodwill does. They'll put like an XX, you know, they'll use Roman numerals to mark the price down below, which would be 20, you know, this kind of thing. So anyway, so I like to black that out, but I didn't here. Again, I don't screw around with shoes all that much. I just get them up and out the door as fast as possible. 44 New Balance, that was over on Poshmark, 16 days, took in $33. Okay, moving on. What else we got here? We got some Nike swim trunks. I think these sat around for a long time. Oh, no, 18 days. So these were only listed for 18 days. For some reason, I thought this was an old pair. I'm gonna have to double check that because that seems weird to me. Sale price, $12.51, got $12.51. That also seems very strange. This must just be like a relisting. This is probably some kind of relisting I did, for sure. That's totally what this is, because I know I've had these forever. But these are some vintage Nike trunks. I could tell by the way I'm listing it, because I was listing this back when I wasn't listing very well. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. Okay, and walked away with about $13. That's not right either. Okay, so I'll probably get about $10 on these. Anyway, what I want to get to is that I do pick up a lot of Nike. Learned my lesson here on these ones. But Nike's really bread and butter for me. Real curious if you find the same thing for you. Obviously very style dependent. You know, you want to make sure you're picking up the right Nike stuff. I like a lot of vintage center swoosh stuff, in hoodies. I'll pick up just a lot of different activewear and Nike. Shoes do really well for me. Men's Nike, like lounge stuff, like joggers, thick, durable joggers, do really well. And right now I'm starting to sell a lot of Nike women's shorts as well. Okay. Next up, I love selling anything 70s vintage and tops, especially in men's tops with these point collars like this. I usually do really well. So I've been leaning a lot into vintage lately, and I'm getting better at figuring these out as well. So this is a vintage 70s JCPenney shirt. Sold it in 6 days. Got $29 for it. I took an offer on that. Let's see. Here's the tag. Here's what you're looking for. But you're going to pretty much spot it right away when it's like this. It's got this kind of interesting stitching around the ends here. And it was in pretty good condition. I don't think there was any snags or anything on this one. But that's what you're always looking like too, right? Looking for too in these old polyester pieces are snags in the fabric. So keep a good eye on that. You have to reduce it a few bucks. But for the most part, a lot of the guys who pick this kind of stuff up, the shoppers, they're pretty lenient. So you can get away with a couple snags here and there on these, usually. Next up, we've got another pair of Nike Flyknits, or another pair of Nikes. These sold for $14.46, so it looks like I took an offer on that. They sat around for close to a year, though, so be careful. This might not be a style that you're after. I thought they would have done a lot better than that. That's kind of surprising, but... Okay, so that's 2 Nike pieces I showed you so far after telling you I've been doing great on Nike that have sat around forever, and then I finally got rid of them. But hey, I guess that just shows you that they do sell. It just takes a while. Okay, what's next? Oh, a pair of Skechers Bobs. These are kind of cool. It's really weird. I find Bobs all the time, and they always sell pretty quickly. And especially if you can get like a style like this, right? You got the camo, you got tons of keywords, you got all these patches all over it. So these are a pair of Bobs slip-on from Skechers. Where are they? Took 20 days. Got $22.47, so I got my asking on it. Made about 20 bucks on those. Cost of goods was about $2 there, so not bad. Okay, guys, we only have about 5 or 6 more to go, so hang in there with me. If you're liking what you're seeing so far, please subscribe. I'd like to do these every week, really get out as many labels as I can to you guys, a lot of different styles, especially right now with spring and summer upon us, or summer really coming up fast. Make sure you guys are getting out there for these garage, yard, and estate sales. They're popping right now, especially here in Central Oregon. I don't know about you. Let me know. Here we go. Pair of Danners, right? Danners are always awesome. They're pretty BOLO, to be frank. They're not easy to find. I find maybe a pair of Danners a quarter, maybe. These are pretty cool. These sold in 4 days. Listed them for $71. I took an offer at $65. Made about 53 bucks on these. Pretty solid condition. This particular guy was, he had a sale at he was moving out of a 5 acre ranch. I was just getting rid of a ton of old work gear and like nice Danners and stuff. He had like a lot of killer stuff. I think I got like a lot of Harley gear from this guy as well. Really nice treads down below. I mean, these are like barely used. Look like, well, they might have been worn a little bit there. But keep an eye out for Danner. Most styles do very well. I have seen a couple styles of Danners that don't do very well, so be careful. But you can get some of these Danners, man. I mean, you can get 100, 200 bucks from some of them, depending on which ones you get. So make sure you're researching your Danners. Next up, Lululemon. Again, Lululemon men's, I'm doing really well on. Lululemon women's, I seem to be taking a slight turn downwards over the last couple quarters. So let me know how you're doing there. These Lululemon Pace Breaker men's shorts, this had a lot of engagement too. I remember I was getting a lot of likes and all over the platforms. So make sure you're keeping an eyes out for these. These sold in 13 days. Listed for 30 bucks, sold for about 27, made about 20 bucks on these. And moving on, we got some Carhartt. Last week when I was talking about what was recently listed, I think I went over these. Some Carhartt cargo pants. Out here, these are pretty bread and butter. You find a lot of these all over the place. These had kind of a nice marbled texture to them. These took 8 days to sell. Sold them for 27 bucks. Listing took in about $19 profit there. Almost there, guys. Here we go. Also talked about this listed last week. Majestic New York Yankees jacket. Again, I sell a lot of Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, NBA. And this one's Majestic. So this one just had a really nice feel to it. It was in really good condition. Here's a label here. This sold in 5 days for asking 53 bucks. Made about 40 on that. Thank you, Poshmark. Enjoy all that money. Jeez Louise. Okay, next up, some Specialized. Always keep an eye out for Specialized. They put out a lot of different like cycling gear. We get a lot of cyclists up here in Central Oregon. Lots of really flat, beautiful trails and street areas for them to cycle around. So I sell a lot of cycling jerseys and stuff like this. So these were listed for $29.67. Got asking, made about 24 bucks on those. Okay, just a few more, or a couple more. And here's some 511 tactical Norris sneakers. I don't really come across many 511 sneakers. You know, I come across a lot of their pants. Those are pretty bread and butter up here. And 511 doesn't sell as well as it used to, but now 511 like cargo pants, tactical ripstop type gear does really well. But this might be the first 511 shoes that I found. I don't know, have you found them before? So these sold in 3 days. I probably underpriced them. Sold them for 44, so I even took an offer after 48 and made about 36 bucks on these, but I'm gonna be keeping a closer eye on these. These are the Norris sneakers. And what was kind of cool about these is they are puncture resistant. So probably pretty cool, excuse me, for like contractors out there. Cool, that one sold over on eBay. Yeah, duh, looking right at it. So here's lastly some Miss B boot cuts. I was talking about these last week. I like looking for the fleur-de-lis. Here are like a cross pattern. Those seem to do pretty well. Boot cuts, obviously. Boot cuts are still doing great. And I know right now my jeans will start to taper off a little bit as we enter summer, as they probably will you too. I don't know. But I'm still pushing them pretty big. And what I'll do is I'll just kick up the price a little bit on these, knowing that they will go through various stages of selling over the next several months and be at a pretty cherry spot, a sweet spot, right around fall, end of August, early September, where jeans will start to pick up again. So some Miss Me boot cuts here. Let's see, what did those sell for? Those sold in 7 days, sold them for $26 for asking there. Made about 18, 19 bucks on those. And that will do it, guys. Thanks so much. Please subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm going to put together, last week I put together an interesting video on shipping, how to adjust your shipping. Be sure to take a look at that video. But I'm trying to put together some videos on systems, how to reduce your hours spent working, right? So that way this profit actually makes more sense. As I mentioned, I'm down to about 3 to 5 hours a day, but I'm still pumping out 20 to 30 items a day. So I want to help you get there if that's what you would like to do. And I do that through leveraging AI, reducing my overall system efforts. This is everything from like movements to how I do my photo sessions, how I do my shipping, and just constantly reducing time and touches on these items so that way I can get them out the door as fast as possible. Thanks so much for being a part of this today. Please subscribe, please like, and I will see you soon. Ciao.